This is CA Rekha. So in today's session, I'll be covering the topic of audit in automated environment. So we'll be seeing what an automated environment is all about, how it is different from the traditional audit environment, what are the key benefits of auditing in an automated or IT environment, and what are the features. We'll get an understanding of what is an IT environment, what are the different types of controls present in an IT environment, what are the advantages, what are the different types or different processes that is being carried out there, what are the different compliance and regulatory procedures that is required as per the different rules, that is the Companies Act or maybe IT Act, what are the different kinds of compliance procedures. So now we'll go into the topic. We'll first see what is an automated environment. We'll go into the presentation first. So, what is an automated environment? So, here, this question, automated environment, now in this present scenario, this is not a very new term because we have already adapted to this kind of a audit environment. Like in the previous traditional kind of audit, in the olden days, there were no computers or no information systems. So, all the audit was carried out, manual basis. So you were having your ledgers, your big bonded books, your journals, your ledgers, all the vouchers, and you also have the reconciliation. Everything will be done manually. You do the vouching, check all the bills, then make sure all the journal entries are being posted into the corresponding ledgers, sub ledgers. Then for all the accounts are open, then you see the trial balance, verify the trial balance, do the reconciliation, and finally you end up there with a balance sheet and P&L. You check with that, and finally you make a documentation of all the things, whatever you have checked, whatever is your opinion, whatever is your findings, and finally the auditor will come up with a conclusion or come up with an opinion based on the conclusions reached, and he'll be giving it through a audit report. Now, on the contrary, nowadays what is happening is most of the systems, most of the entities, instead of maintaining all these accounts, books of accounts, their documents, their records in physical form, they are shifting it to a information system, shifting it to an automated environment. They use computers to carry out the accounting process or carry out the operations. So same thing, there is no change in the business as such, but the environment in which they are working on has changed a lot. So automated environment is nothing but it is just a business environment where all the process, where all the operations, even accounting, bookkeeping, everything is carried out by the use of computers. So this computers and this environment is also known as an information system, computers or information system or information technology systems. So automated environment is just a business environment where all the processes, operations, your accounting, and even sometimes the decision making through the reports generated from the IT systems, it is done using a IT system or an information technology system. Such a particular environment is called as a automated environment. Now, what are the key features of this particular automated environment? How, like if traditional audit or those with manual or physical copies of books had few advantages or it had a few features, similarly your automated audit and automated environment also has key features. Some key features. What are the key features? Let's see the key features. What are they? The first key feature is the speed with which each and every transaction can be processed, each and every transactions can be entered, each and every transactions can be posted in the ledgers, where how easily reconciliation can be done. So the first key feature is speed. It enables faster business operation, very fast, and not just fast, since everything is done through computers. I can say the amount of errors is drastically reduced. Now, when I'm doing it manually, say for example, I am doing a vouching, there are chances that I might miss out on any one of the elements. Say for example, in authorization or invoice, any one point I could just overskip or I could just miss out. Whereas in a particular automated environment, sometimes when I'm doing the posting, sometimes there could be an error within the different types of accounts. I could do a wrong posting, I could do some kind of errors while carry forward, arithmetic errors, anything could be there. But in an automated environment, All these are done by the help of computers, so it is less prone to human errors. Human errors are very, very less. And even though human errors are less, that doesn't mean it is compromising on the quality of information. Accuracy will be too good provided the source data is correct. If the source data, or if the data or transactions, the vouchers, invoice, whichever is there, if those source data is correct, of course the accuracy is much, much higher than that being done by on a manual basis. So accuracy of data processing and computation is very, very high. Within a split of a seconds, it will be able to do all the calculations, even complex calculation, and the processing speed is also very, very high. Once I'm creating all the accounts, once all the ledgers are created, then it is just a matter of entering every month. Rather than in manual basis, you have to write it down every month, check everything, write down all the accounts. It is an elaborate process, and with the increase in the transactions, your manual or maintaining books on a manual basis will be a manual task. So what happens is, it has an ability to process large volume of transactions. A large volume of transactions can be processed. And again, what about security? Security means very high security, provided you implement the appropriate controls. Because when there is a manual intervention, or when the books are maintained on a manual basis or on a physical basis, there could be some uh, place where either it could be due to the ignorance of the person who is doing the keeping the books of accounts, or there could be some kind of fraud, or there could be some kind of error, could be prone to some kind of error. But with automated system, when appropriate controls are implemented, then it is a matter of high security and control. Then latest information, when you're telling about the information technology or IT systems, whatever information you're getting is always updated. It is no old information, is there? It is always updated, always the latest information is present. It is not that I forget to, when I am doing, or when I'm doing on a manual basis, sometimes I might forget to post, but this, since it is automated, it will be always the latest information, and also better connectivity and networking capabilities will be there. It is not that just one person has to go everywhere. This, even say for example, in the bank audit itself, one of the branches is doing the audit of head office, it can obtain the books of accounts for all the branches or all the different branches in split of a second. So better connectivity and networking capabilities are provided I implement the suitable ERP system. So across different branches, across different departments, I can utilize the particular data, and there is no kind of a waiting time. That is, I can actually save on time also. So what are the key features? Means faster operations, accuracy will be high, then ability to process large volume of data, can process large volume of data, then security, better security through controls, less error, and also latest information and connectivity, networking. And since I told about ERP systems, what does the ERP system actually do? It combines, or it helps to different departments within a particular organization to interact with each other. So say for example, there is a HR, there is a payroll, there is a marketing, sales, accounting, finance, IT department, different departments within an organization are there. Now, all these departments, if they want a particular information, they have to wait from department 1 or department sales or department marketing to get that information, analyze that, and then process. Now, what does an ERP do, or what does a particular accounting and financial system does is, it actually integrates between different business operations. So it is like all the information is present in one unified database. So it is not that there is no waiting time. At any moment, any information can be obtained by any department. Depending on the access, or depending on the roles and responsibilities, I can give access to each and every person who is working on that, and I can also make sure there is enough security and controls are also implemented. Proper segregation of duties also I can put, but the ability to obtain data from different departments or across different business operations becomes possible. So IT environment, these are the key features. Now, what is the relevance? These are the features. So why is it relevant in audit? So I could rather use a manual or just keep in my physical forms, keep all the books of accounts in my physical forms rather than going for a IT environment. What is the relevance of an IT environment? So now comes the relevance of an IT environment. One of the relevances, since here, like sometimes some companies or some entities, their nature of business will be like quite high tech. So it is kind of not very feasible to maintain all the books of accounts in a manual format. Say, for example, your telecom industries, or maybe e-commerce industry. So in e-commerce or telecom industries, what happens is majority of the transactions are taking place on a say for example, majority of the transactions are taking place online, and the way in which the business is structured is also quite different from the normal business or normal retail business that is happening. So in such cases where the nature of business is quite high tech, IT or this information technology or audit in automated environment comes into play. Now, when the complexity is more, not it may not be high tech, but the complexity of the transactions is more. Say there are n number of systems that is connected to one particular server, or there is a network of system, multiple systems working together. In such cases also, when the complexity of transactions is increased, say for example, I have to send a data to one from one of the system to another system, but I have implemented controls such that only those persons who have access, who can access the particular system. In such, the transactions are very, very complex. In such cases also, I need IT. I can implement IT. I can implement proper firewalls, proper security, any kind of intrusion system to protect the data. So I need, whenever the data is transferred across different networks, different computers, there is a chance of misuse of data, or there is a chance like any person from the outside network can enter into the outside public network, can enter into the entities of private network if there is no proper security controls. In such cases, it is much beneficial than a manual audit, because when in an IT environment I can implement appropriate controls, logical access controls, or I can give them roles and responsible role based access control, and then I can safeguard the data. That is the second thing. Now, sometimes increased use of systems and application software in business. That means sometimes all the books of accounts are not just maintained in one small Excel or small file. Sometimes it is maintained in a full-fledged ERP. It could be as small as Tally or as big as a SAP. So if you take SAP FICO, in those modules, there is an increased use of systems. It is data flows between n number of departments. So each and every department can get access to data. In such cases also, we go for IT audit. Now, fourth one is when the volume of transactions is very, very high. So when do you say the volume of transactions is very, very high? Say for example, in business of railway ticket booking. So there are n number of transactions that happens even in 1 minute, say, or banking transactions. In banking transactions also, n number of transactions happen in a second, withdrawal, deposits, every 1 minute or every 1 hour, there are hundreds and thousands of transactions happening for one bank. So imagine the number of volume of transactions across the whole nation or across a country. So in such cases where the transaction volume is very, very high, when it is done on a manual or it is done by humans, the speed is very, very low, efficiency is very low, and also it is prone to human error. So here comes the relevance of IT in this particular automated environment. Sometimes it might not be a high-tech business, it is normal business, but volume of transactions are medium, complex, not very complex transactions, but as per the company policy or as per the regulatory requirements, these things need to be implemented, or they need certain automated systems to be implemented. So in such cases also, say for example, as required by, like, we have certain ISO specifications or PCI specifications. So in such cases, or SA 315 itself, understanding the entity and its environment. So in such cases also, the auditor needs to get a complete understanding of the environment, where sometimes it will be beneficial if it is implemented in an IT or automated environment. It will be better thinking about the volume, thinking about the time taken for doing the work, everything, it will be better if I do it in an IT system. Now, so basically, when I am implementing the IT system or a audit or in a particular automated environment, the overall effectiveness and efficiency of the audit will increase. So basically, these are the relevance of IT. So one is when the transactions are very, very huge in numbers. Say for example, our railway bookings or your banking transactions, where even in 1 second there are hundreds of transactions taking place on a all over, maybe on a national basis or even on a state basis. So these much transactions it has to process. So in order to process these much transactions, the processing speed should be very, very high. It should less prone to errors. At the same time, it should have good security. So, taking into consideration all these, we go for IT. Or when I'm using an ERP system, it may be small as Tally or it might be as huge as SAP or any other ERP systems. Maybe complexity of the transactions, like it involves multiple systems, data transfer between multiple systems. I have to protect the network, computer, entities network from another intruder or from a outside public network, or because of regulatory requirements or company policy, or sometimes as required by the Indian international standards, say for example ISO, PCS, PCI, or even SA 315. So it is basic relevance of this particular IT and audit is to improve the effectiveness and efficiency of audit. So we saw what is an automated environment, what are the key features of automated environment, what is the relevance of IT in an audit, and also we are going to see what are the benefits. Now we will see what are the benefits of this particular IT. So as I told you, when I combine both the features and the relevance of an IT audit, now by this time itself, I'm sure everyone have got what are the benefits. So again, I don't think I have to give you the benefits, but basically benefits is your computation and calculations are automatically, every computation and automatically. So once you already enter the kind of rules and the processes that it should follow, you already define the rules, define the controls, define the nature of work, and also you define what are the things that has to be done, from where the data is to be taken, what jobs has to be scheduled on what basis, when the jobs has to be run. So when a particular job is run, what happens? Say for example, the ledger posting happens, or posting in different accounts happen, trial balance creation happens. So all these things can be automated. Say for example, manually I'm doing the interest calculation. Maybe I'm calculating the depreciation. Whereas if I define a particular formula, even in Excel itself we can see, right? In small formula, if you define a macro, define a small formula, within split of a second, you can actually implement that particular formula. You can make sure that the particular formula is being worked out. So every time repetitively, you don't have to keep on calculating. So it saves hours and hours of your man hours. It saves a lot of man hours, because instead of keeping on calculating every month, every week, if this is automated, this is like done in a split of a second. So your computations and calculations are very, very automatically carried out. Say for your bank interest, your depreciation, inventory, everything. Now, your accounting entries. What about accounting entries? You do the vouching. Mostly vouching is a part that is being done manually. I do the vouching manually. But how the entries are being posted? Entries are automatically posted, say from different ledgers, sub-ledger to general ledger. So this is an automatic process. So less human intervention, less error again. Once you define the rules, once you define how each and entry has to be posted, it will be done or it will be automated. So again, this is another key benefit of audit in an IT environment. Now, third one is what? Same, similar to your accounting entries, your different policies and procedures. Say, for example, authorization. Say this particular authorization has to be done only by a specified person, or by a particular, or this particular internal control has to be applied, or your business policies, or it could be procedures, anything. I can automate that too. I can give who has to approve each and every transaction. I can provide a delegation of authorities, set up a delegation of authorities, or I can give access to only that person so that he can only approve the transaction. Say there is a purchase order. Say purchase order has been, purchase requisition has been given by the production department, and this particular purchase requisition has been approved, and now the purchase order has to be placed. Who will approve the purchase order? So now I can, in the system itself, I can define access rules in the sense I can give that particular username id to a particular person. Only that person or an authorized person can approve that particular transaction. So what happens, there is a proper delegation of authorities. And similarly, even in our credit limit check, so or the aging analysis, so all this I need not go verify how much has to be, how much is due to the company every month. No, I can just within split of a second, even in Tally, I can generate a aging report, a customer aging report. So how much is the creditor's aging report, how much is the amount that is being I have to pay to the creditors, how much is being debtors aging report, how much I have to obtain. So this is not a manual process anymore. Everything, each and everything, your aging, your receivables, payables, even your postings, delegation of authorities, accesses, authorizations, approvals, everything can be done on an automated basis. So this is another advantage or benefit of audit in an IT environment. Now, just when I am implementing all these controls, I am putting in place all the delegation of authorities, documentation, does it mean I am not using the information only for these purposes? No, whatever information I am giving it to the system or whatever system is processing, the final thing is what? Some input is being given to the system processes those input, and finally it gives some output. Here the output will be in the form of reports, MIS reports. These reports will be definitely used by the senior management, your management, or those charged with governance. And depending on what information is produced from the report, the particular management can take a informed decision. Say for example, I was telling about the creditors aging. Say a creditor's aging report is being obtained from the system, the management can analyze that. Before going and making any further investment in any other place, he'll know what is the current liability, how much it has to repay. So whether the amount that it has procured or the capital it is being infused or the amount profit that has been obtained by the particular entity, will it be able to, can it be used to expand the business or pay off the current liability? So any kind of decisions, informed decision making can be done by the management using these kind of reports. So these reports can also be done on manual basis, but think of the time, think of the effort, think of the chances of error when it being done in a manual. But again, when the transactions are very huge, just to get one report itself, it will take days and days. Now within, if it is automated, if you have already programmed, if you have already defined the rules, controls, security aspects, already the source data is reliable, what happens? It is in no time I can get the reports. That is another benefit. Now again, as I told you, the security aspects for everything, instead of physically assigning duties to each and every person, I can give roles or I can give access based on the roles and responsibilities. So any person, say for example, I am posting the entries. So I can only do the posting of entries. I should not be in a position to collect the cash or do the next part of the, say for example, I am not in a position to do the P&L or balance sheet, or I am not in a position to do reconciliation. Only that particular job, whichever is assigned to me, I can do that. So here again, say for example, a person who is dealing with the say for example payables. So that person, when he is making an entry, he is not in a position to approve the purchase order. So otherwise, a person who is able to approve the purchase order, he'll place an order, and that particular amount, whichever is there, say for example, he's not placing an order, but he is making, or he is manipulating the records in such a way that he is placing the order, and he is also dealing with the accounts payable. So he can also make an entry, a dummy entry, that a particular order has been placed and this amount has been paid to the creditor and this particular product has been obtained. I can also manipulate the records. So in order to implement segregation of duties, I can make sure that access control is proper. So this is another aspect or advantage of IT, audit in an IT environment. Now, the next topic is understanding the IT environment. So every auditor, like before he starts 315, we know auditor is supposed to identify and assess. So how a particular auditor identifies and assesses the risk of material misstatement? The first aspect of understanding and assessing the risk is by understanding the entity. He has to understand the entity and its environment. That is the first and the foremost rule. Now, in an IT or IT automated environment, how this happens or how the particular IT environment or what are the things that the particular auditor has to um, understand, or what are the things that the auditor has to obtain as for the getting an understanding of the particular entity. So basically all the first initially the auditor has to get an understanding of the different IT departments, how the different IT departments are organized, how IT department is organized. Say for example, who are the persons coming in the IT department, who is heading the IT department, who is can be hold responsible for the functioning of these particular aspects. What are the IT activities that is being carried out? Say I know the roles and responsibilities of each and every person within the IT department. So what activities they are doing? So is there any kind of dependency? Is there any kind of risk and controls? All these I have to understand. So basically I'll start with what is the information system that is being used. Say for example, whether they are using any one or more application system, what is the kind of operating system they use. First understand the system. What is the system they are using? Information system, whether they, what is the OS, what are the application systems they use, whether they use an ERP, whether they use a database, data warehouse, what is the system that is being in use. That's the first thing. Now, second thing, they have already used such system. For why they are using? Is it for any kind of financial work or non-financial work? So our key aspect is to make sure that the IT or audit is happening in an automated environment and all the books are maintained in an automated environment. So for what purpose they are maintaining the information system, whether it is for financial or it is for non-financial. That is the first thing. So next thing is whether the systems are, like say for example, I'm going for an audit. Now within the entity, whether the systems are present or whether it is present in any other location. So it need not be present there. Sometimes some functions might be outsourced within the company. Say they have a on-site branch outside India. So certain in-house functions or certain functions of that particular company will be done or taken care by this particular branch which is outside the country. So where these IT systems are located. So once the IT systems are located, when I'm doing the audit of these IT systems, I know what are the security controls that is put in place, how secure the data is, who can access. Say for example, the systems are not here, it is in a outside place or it is in a global or it is not placed within the particular entity. Then I have to understand what are the threats to the data residing in this particular system which is outside the country. So again, this is another basic aspect that has to be understood, location of the IT systems. So first is information system, what they are using. Second is the purpose, why they are using the information system. It is for financial or if it is for non-financial purpose. Third is what? The location, where it is placed. Now, what kind of architecture it follows? Architecture means what? Whether it is a client server model or it is a desktop based model or it is a cloud. The data is not stored within the system. It is stored in a web server. It is stored in a different place. Early access is given to them. So in such cases, it is cloud based. Or is it a web application? Web application means there is nothing stored in the system. It is only on the web browser. You need a browser, a connection, a internet connection and browser to collect the data. In such cases, what is the architecture followed? Is it a client server model? You have different computers that is connected to one main computer which is called as a server. N number of computers are there, say 20 computers or 30 computers are there. All the 40 computers are connected to one main server or main computer that is called as a server. So in case of a breakdown or in case of a some kind of a computer getting crashed, how the information they are retrieving, whether since it is connected to n number of systems, will it be affecting, or can I retrieve the information from other systems, or is there any kind of backup? All these things will come into picture. Now version, what is version? Next thing I have to check is about the version. Version we know, like suppose we are doing some work in Excel, we'll be saving in a particular name. Now again, I'm making slight changes to that, but I also wanted to keep the original document there, but at the same time I wanted to make some changes, save in another name. Say for example, I have already kept in like say for example P&L or balance sheet 2019. Now haven't we done like P&L balance sheet or books of accounts 2019? Again we do copy one. Once more, if you save it in another particular file, or if we save the same particular file after making some kind of modification in another file name, it will automatically save as books of accounts 2019 copy 1. So this copy 1 and the original books of account, these are different versions of the same document. First was a save particular books of accounts of 2019. There's some changes made to that, and this is another version. So similarly, in your systems also, there could be different versions. In a mobile itself or software, have you seen different versions will be there. So sometimes it will ask for an update because different versions will have different risks. Sometimes I'm using both of me and my friend, both of them are using the same phone, same software, but since another person has updated the software, the risk and the controls with respect to that particular version might be different from that what I am using. So though basically both the systems are same, the update or the version is different. So this could also happen in a particular IT environment. So this is a versioning. Now interfaces with the system. So how many systems are taking input from these particular system, or how many systems are pulling information from this particular system, interfaces with the system. So they have a number of systems, there are multiple systems, how many systems feed data from this particular system or the main system. Now in-house or packaged. So whether the particular systems are done or they're customized, or they're done, or each and every application or each and every work is done within the company, or it is being customized from somewhere else, or sometimes outsourced activities might be there. Like say for example, the development or testing, everything will be carried out within the company itself. I'm developing a small program. So this small program will be developed by the programmers in-house. They will be developing the particular program. They will be doing the testing, unit testing, putting the values, doing all the testing, even the user acceptance testing. User acceptance testing is the user will also be coming along with the testing team. Then he will also put a few requirements, and there will be a testing happening whether the particular program is complying to the requirements as required by the user. So this is your user. User has to accept whether the particular program is being programmed or it is functioning as per the requirement. Everything is taken care within the entity, but sometimes the maintenance and support, once I give the product that particular customer, the maintenance and the support will be given, or it will be outsourced. I'll give that particular work to some other entity. They will be in charge of the maintenance and support. So this again could happen, outsource activities. Then who are the key persons? So as I told you, understanding the IT environment, different persons within the department, I have to understand who is responsible. Say, is there a chief information officer, chief information security officer, or who is the person who is in charge of giving the approvals, a system admin or information technology person? What are the rules and the responsibilities of that particular person? Who is liable for what? What are the dependencies? When a particular work has been done by one particular person, for another to continue with that work, what has to be, or who has to be ready with the work? Say for example, I have a tester and I have a programmer. For the tester to test a piece of code, he should make sure that the work gets completed or the coding is complete by the programmer. So there is a dependency here. There is a two persons, and only one person, if he finishes, there will be another person will be able to start his work. So what are the IT dependencies? What are the risks? Who is responsible for what? What are the different compositions, or what composes the IT department? Everything comes into understanding the entity and automated environment. So basically, It includes what is the information system that is being used, what is the purpose, financial or non-financial, where it is located in local or it is a global, what is the kind of architecture, client server or cloud based or it is stored in a web server, what is the architecture, then what is a versioning. Say for example, different versions of the particular application itself can have different kinds of risk, right? So as I told you in that mobile example, so what is a version that is being used, what are the interfaces, where the any other system, where multiple systems are there, which are the systems that is taking data or information from this particular system, what are the outsourced activities, what are the, who are the key persons responsible, who can be held responsible and accountable. All these things come within the purview of our understanding the entity and the environment. So now here in this so and once I understand, the particular auditor understands the gets an understanding about the automated environment, the next duty of that particular auditor is to make sure that these particular risk or these particular environment aspects about the environment is documented. So whatever is the understanding of the entity, it has to be documented, the policies, procedures, and as in a traditional audit. So whatever in a traditional audit you understand the client business, who has infused the capital, what is the governance structure, what is the investment made, what are the current liabilities, or what are when they are what is the kind of reporting followed, what are the accounting policies followed by the entity. In a normal audit you do the documentation, same way your IT environment also you have to do an documentation after your understanding of that particular entity. Now this is one small example of the documentation that has been done. So here basically it's just one snapshot. They are doing like what kind of information system they are being used. Say for example SAP or Paymaster. What is the version? There can be a different version. They can document the version. Basically it's on rows and columns. So different types of attributes will be defined. Say information system, SAP version. What is the version? Purpose. Say accounting or supply chain or customer relationship management, HR, payroll processing, production, could be anything, any particular, what is the purpose, where is the location, with is reason with India, like here it is, first one is in Texas USA, it is in outside India. What is an architecture, client server architecture, SQL, what is the different architecture that is being followed. Then interfaces, what is the interfaces, is it providing data to any other system. So here also it is providing data to another system. Then in-house or packaged, then outsourced, then what are the persons, who are the persons responsible. So here there is a chief information officer, administrator. So these are all how the particular IT environment, understanding about will be documented. So this is one example of that. Now so since we have already covered, so in this particular session, we have covered what is an IT environment, what is an automated environment, what are the key features of an automated environment. So just like any other business environment, automated environment is also a business environment where the processes or operations or accounting are carried out with the help of systems. Similarly, what is the key features, what is the relevance of that particular IT in the audit, what are the key benefits, and also what is the understanding of the IT environment. We covered all that. Now in the next session we'll be covering what are the risk and controls with respect to this particular IT environment, what is the impact, how it impacts, what are the types of controls that can be implemented, and so on and so forth.